In this Multiversus video, I'm going to show you the best perks to use with LeBron James in Multiversus. So here we are on the main menu. I'm going to move over to Collection, and then from Collection I'm going to scroll down to LeBron James. Now from the LeBron James menu here, there's a variety of things that we can have a look at. I'm going to go into Train Perks, which you unlock when you progress with LeBron James in Multiversus. When you progress with your characters in the game, you have different things available to you that you have unlocked. One of these things is the Train Perks, and you will be able to add perks to your character, if this is your main character for example, that are not currently available for that character. Let's dive in so you have a better understanding of what I mean here. If I select Train Perks, here there is a menu. In this menu, it categorizes the different perks that are available. We have offensive perks, defensive perks, and utility, which is usually speed or something else that isn't defense or attack based. So in the offensive section, which we are here, you have LeBron James's known perks. These are the perks that your character already have available to them. And of course, LeBron James has his set of perks that are built towards his player build. This is why this is available at this point when you're leveling up LeBron James. Now of course, the more you level up your character, the more of their built-in perks, for example, this one, Make It Rain, will be made available to you. You also have this section which is unlocked perks from other characters. So when you're progressing your other characters in Multiversus, you will unlock perks. This will also be available to you in this menu. And then you have all other perks, and these perks can be purchased for gold. As you can see here, that's not all folks. Ringing out enemies while near the blast zone pushes the attacker back towards the center of the map. If I select this now, I can use Train that perk, and that will purchase that perk for LeBron James, so I can use that with LeBron James. For example, now that's not all folks, will be available for LeBron James. And of course, before you begin a match, you will be able to equip this perk with LeBron James. Do note that when you progress your characters in Multiversus, you will have the ability to use your teammate's perks in some scenarios. So if your teammate has this perk available in their glossary, you will be able to use this perk with your selected character. Now at a lower level, you can only select around about 2 to 3 perks to your character in the arena. So of course, there will only be 2 to 3 available. So if we have a look here, we have 2 utility and we have 1 offense. So of course, there is not much you can mix and match here, but we can have a look at these so that you have a better understanding of what's available to you at the lower level before we make a selection on what are the best perks to use with LeBron James. So in the offensive section, you have the Make It Rain, dog. Your team receives a 20% increased projectile speed. Now LeBron James has a basketball which is utilised in his gameplay. It's absolutely brilliant. You can throw it forward with a standing special move, and you can also use a spike and a slam. When you don't have this basketball in your hand, your move set slightly changes. For example, if you don't have the basketball in your hand, you can do something called the fence up, where you fence up and block projectiles. In the utility section, we have 2 perks available: the I dodge, you dodge, we dodge. Your team receives 10% ability cooldown refund after dodging an attack. And then we have gravity manipulation. Your team receives 10% increased fast fall speed. This means that if you're in the air and you push down on your keyboard or your joystick, this is the fast fall action, and it will move your character downwards faster as if you were to leave the character to fall from the air. This is extremely useful with LeBron James because then you can get to the ground and you can cause some damage by using ground attacks or making another jump. It's extremely useful. As well as the smaller lower level perks that you slot into these sections here, you also have the signature perk, which is the big special perk that you can attach to your characters. Now of course, you will need to level up to unlock these, and you can see that I'm currently working on tier 11, which will give you the Leg Day Champ perk, and next to this, you have the Keep the Possession perk. The Keep the Possession perk, when LeBron and his allies receive a pass, they gain a grey health for a few seconds. Grey health is extremely good, so you can hit the player, and when it's grey health, it's basically like blocking the amount of damage that your character can take, which is extremely cool with LeBron James. As I said, throwing the ball in the arena is quite easy. If you stand still for a moment and hold that Y button, you'll be able to throw and aim the ball, and you can also do no-look passes. And you also have the back-to-back. your team receives 6% reduced damage when near an ally. So if you're near an ally on the battle arena, on the platform, you will receive 6% less damage. And of course, if your teammate equips this, you will have 12% damage reduced as it stacks. Not all perks are stackable, and that's the reason why we should consider this when we're considering the best perks to use with LeBron James. LeBron James is a boozer and a hybrid player that you can see right here, which gives you an indication of what type of character he is and how to use him. So now let's get into the best perks to use with LeBron James now that we've took into consideration all these elements. Now in the offensive section here, we're going to select one. I think we're going to select one perk here, but we will consider others for those of you who want to mix and match the best perks to use with LeBron James. Now 100% the Make It Rain Dog is one of the best perks to use with LeBron James. You're using a basketball and you can throw this, and that 20% increased projectile speed is extremely helpful on the battlefield because he is one of those long range players. You can throw the ball and that speed of when you release the ball is going to be extremely helpful for you. So that is 100% the best perk to use in this section here. If you're using LeBron James, Make It Rain Dog is a great perk to use, and one of the best to use with LeBron James. Now there are other perks that I did consider in this section here, but they are not nowhere near as good as the Make It Rain Dog. The Make It Rain Dog is definitely 100% the offensive perk to use with LeBron James. Now if you go into any of the other sections, you can mix and match with what type of player you are. Of course, if you're a knockout artist, I've been talking to some of you guys in the comment section, and some of you guys like to get that first hit and that first knockout. If you like to get the first hit, that 20% of speed with the basketball, which you can utilize with LeBron James, is going to be extremely helpful, as when you hit a player, you receive a basketball back. If you release the ball and it goes outside of the arena, on the other hand, you can lose the basketball for a period of time. You can also release the basketball and it can still be in play and hit the other players, as it bounces and can stay in play if you use the right move. Now, in the defensive section, this is where it gets interesting. If you level up LeBron James, you will be given the back-to-back, which is, of course, if you're near a teammate while you're attacking or on the arena, you will receive 6% reduced damage if you're using this on your own. If the teammate decides to use the same perk as you, the back-to-back, you will get 12% reduced damage. But here's where it gets very interesting. Although that's great, your teammate does move around a lot, and if you're separated, this can stunt you. So you can have basically not using this at all if you're not near a teammate. It's great if you're in a 2-on-1 situation, because of course if the attacker then dodges and goes for a quick attack, you will receive slightly less damage, but I don't think it's the best perk to use in this defensive section here. What I would use is the Slippery Customer. Here's why. The Slippery Customer is absolutely great, but LeBron James also has a fence that he can create to block projectiles. So being able to block projectiles with that fence when you don't have that basketball in your hand definitely makes up for things like the Kryptonian skin, for example. You won't need the Kryptonian skin if you know how to use LeBron James, because you will be able to use that fence in order to defend. Not only that, is slippery when a Slippery Customer is 10% longer dodge invulnerability window. What this means is, when you've dodged, you have a slight invulnerability when you're dodging, which means you cannot be attacked, or you're not being affected when you're being attacked because of that dodge. Now, having 10% longer with LeBron James gives you an extra level of defense, because if you know how to use him, you can also use that fence straight afterwards if you don't have the basketball in your hand. And if you're using that quick release of that basketball, you can quickly attack back. So this is the reason why a Slippery Customer is the defensive perk that I would use with LeBron James, and one of the best perks to use with LeBron James in this situation. If you want to get extremely tactical, if you're up against another LeBron James, or maybe you're facing two LeBron Jameses at the same time, you can go on the defense by blocking projectiles even more. So for example, the School Me Once, your team receives a projectile block buff of 2 seconds after being knocked back by a projectile. That can be a way that you can kind of nerf the ability that LeBron James has in the game. That's if you're being extremely strategic. But if you're a beginner or an intermediate player, I would definitely focus on the slippery customer perk, and that would be the perk that I would select from this section. Moving over to utility. Of course, LeBron James has two available, the I dodge, U dodge, we dodge, and he also has the gravity manipulation for that fast fall action. Now, I wouldn't select the gravity manipulation, even though I use this quite often. If you're going for the best perk to use with LeBron James, I wouldn't select the gravity manipulation if you're looking for the best perks. If you're a casual player and you're not up against pros, I would say, yeah, 100% use the gravity manipulation, as the gravity manipulation will give you that extra ability of getting down to the ground fast, so you can start with those ground attacks. Now, what's great with LeBron James is if you are using the basketball, for example, you can use a spike attack from the air that gets you down to the ground quite quickly anyway, which is extremely useful as it's also an attack. Now, getting down to the ground without attacking, of course, gives you the ability of not being dodged. You cannot really be dodged if you're not attacking. It's basically a countermeasure from somebody attacking you if you're dodging. Now, that move can leave open an open window for you to be attacked. So, if you're a pro player, of course, do not select that gravity manipulation if you're looking for the best perks. If you're a beginner to intermediate player, gravity manipulation will give you that extra advantage of getting down to the ground if you're stuck in the air or you're in a situation where you need to get down from the air after a KBI and trying to control that knockback when a player has knocked you back. Having that gravity manipulation can be extremely helpful in that situation. Now, triple jump is great, but it's another perk that I wouldn't use on LeBron James if you're looking for the best perk to use with LeBron James and you've only got those 3 slots for the smaller perks. I would say triple jump you really wouldn't need, but it is great if you like to be up in the air and brawling in the air. Of course, LeBron James can juggle the characters, and he has a great moveset for you to get those combos off and juggle characters in the air. But you can do this from the ground as well, and also jump once you're in the air to get that juggle. Of course, that triple jump, if you know what you're doing with the character, you will be able to juggle higher when the player is in the air. Instead of using a 3 throw, you can jump extra high for that 3rd jump and try to knock out the player up in the air. But for those beginner to intermediate players, I would say the triple jump wouldn't be too much of a push for the best perk to use with LeBron James. And the one that I would pick, which would be the I dodge, U dodge, we dodge, would definitely be the perk that I would use with LeBron James. And the reason why I would use this as and pick it as one of the best perks to use with LeBron James is because that ability cooldown gives you that extra spike. So when that ability cooldown is down and you need to summon a basketball, for example, you'll be able to have that basketball ready so you can get off another projectile and you can be on the offensive and you can be attacking. Another one to select here and to consider would be Leg Day Champ. Now, this gives you that extra height on your jump, so you may not need the triple jump, especially with LeBron James, who can get that basketball off and can juggle players. That spike also gives you a strong bounce ability and a knockback on players, so you won't need to get up into the air if you're spiking players with that main ability from the air, which is absolutely great. So Leg Day Champ is one. If you like to be up in the air, I would say picking this over the triple jump would definitely be one to go for, as you have that 10% increase in jump height, so you don't really have to tap too often and you can consider what you're going to do in the air instead of trying to get off that extra jump in the air while you're juggling players, as he is a sort of juggler, bruiser sort of character that you're using. He's a hybrid character, LeBron James is, and that's the reason why I would select Leg Day Champ. Now, as you can tell, this is based on your play style, so depending on what type of player you are, you would change perks accordingly. But it's great to go over these and consider which are the best perks to use with the characters. So let's get into our signature perks now, which is going to be the main iffy selection that you would need to make based on your play style. But I'm going to give you the best insight that I can to give you an idea as the best perk to use with LeBron James. Let's get into this now. So we have 3 available, and there's one that I haven't unlocked yet, but I do know how to use LeBron James at this point in this early stage of multiverses. The number one that we have is the hot hands. If LeBron completes a no-look pass to his ally, the basketball is ignited. If LeBron dunks an ignited basketball, he ignites all damaged enemies and creates a firewall on the ground. Now, a no-look pass takes a little bit of practice to get off. So although it's absolutely brilliant, it's a no-look pass. It's a type of pass that you can pull off in the game. Takes a little bit of practice. If you're an intermediate player and you want to get off that damage and you want to get off that old school feeling of like that hot hands basketball game type of gameplay, and you want to see the basketball on fire and creating this ignition on the ground, I would say, yeah, go for it. Extremely fun, the one to select. But it's not the best perk to use in this section, I would say, in my opinion. Next up is the for 3. LeBron James and his allies that hit enemies with a basketball from far away cause a basketball to explode, dealing damage and knock back to all nearby enemies. Now this is great if the projectile was to spike. If a player is in the air and you manage to pull off a 3-point shot and you get that knockout, it really pays off if you're using this perk. And then we have the next one, which is the keep possession. When LeBron or his allies receive a pass, they gain grey health for a few seconds. This would be the number one perk that I would select in this section here. This would be the best perk to use for the signature perk for LeBron James. That grey health is extremely useful, and if you're up against a player like the Iron Giant, who when he uses grey health, it's like he's so big and can take up that space, and when he's tanking those hits, he's just able to get off a lot of damage on you. You need that grey health to go up against players like that, and getting off a pass to your teammate can be extremely easy if your teammate gets in the way. So if you've got that pass off, your teammate's in the way, they've got the ball, they now have that grey health for a few seconds. Extremely helpful. Definitely the best perk to use in this section here. And those are the best perks in my opinion to use with LeBron James. We can now get into some gameplay and I'll show you how to use LeBron James now. I'm also going to make sure I have something selected here, so make sure I have this selected right there as the perks that I want here, right there. Okay, are we ready? We're about to jump in to some gameplay with LeBron James now. Let's get it. Going into teams.
Here comes the heat.
Let's get some.
Let's get to work.
Yeah, baby. LeBron James, Multiversus. Let's go. Toon Squad. Are we ready? I'm ready. Let's go, folks.
Watch the
Let's go.
business, bud.
Gonna get off that throw real quick. Wait a minute. What are you doing to him?
That a kick in the head?
Careful.
It's my lucky rabbit foot.
Get out of here, Superman.
Okay, let's try again. Heating up.
You'll get a kick out of this one.
No.
Sorry, pal.
Hey, Mac!
Going hot. Clear the way.
I'm not going yet.
Okay, Doc.
Get him, get him.
We're in overtime.
Watch your head.
That's it, baby. Tried to get 3-point on him while he was in there.
Can't keep a good farm boy down.
Big one for red.
Damn spikeroids.
Come on.
Hang on, rabbit. Let go. Careful.
Let's go, baby.
Sorry.
Take this.
Yeah.
W-I-N.
That spike, see what I mean? That spike is amazing when you're dunking with LeBron. It's just like, imagine having grey health after you do that.
Yeah, bug.
Continue.
I'm ready. And I don't want to go again. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is how you use LeBron James perks. Those, in my opinion, are the best perks for LeBron James. Hopefully this has been helpful to you. If you've enjoyed, don't forget to smash that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Let people know what I'm doing here. We have Multiversus gameplay. We have Multiversus tutorials. Definitely worth checking out. You should see some of that on screen right now. You're here on the Anthony Allen YouTube channel here on YouTube. Check me out. Comment down below if you have any questions or if you have your perk suggestions or anything that you're playing with in Multiversus, what you like doing in Multiversus. Do let me know. Have that conversation with me. Let's go. See you in the next one. And remember, you are awesome.